So I'm gonna do the sakura flower charm pattern onto the eraser here. Start with drawing your pattern directly with pen or Sharpie onto the stamp surface. You could do a transfer method if you like, or you can just draw directly as I'm doing here. Remember to keep your details fairly large, as you will need to carve them out, and anything too teeny tiny will not work particularly well for the carving method. Also, keep in mind the amount of blank space that you have. The more blank space you have, the harder it actually is to print. So you want to make sure your details don't disappear, but you want to make sure that you have enough going on that it is interesting. As you start carving, move the block around so that you are always cutting away from yourself and away from your hand as much as possible. Keep your fingers out of the line of fire and control your tool so you are not going to slip. You don't need to go deep. Remember, it is just little cuts that make the way. Cutting circles can be done by spinning the block as opposed to spinning your tool in order to make those work well. You may have to do more than one cut to completely remove different little parts. If you only do a single cut, or you don't brush your hand over the surface as I'm doing here, that piece may not disconnect from the block. Once you have done your initial cutting, you want to make sure you test your work on a piece of paper in your sketchbook to see if it's coming along well. This testing method works better if the marker is a little fresher. That marker is pretty dead, but I can still see what's going on, and I noticed that there's a lot of pieces that hadn't come out because I only did single cuts. So I'm fixing that now. This method is a lot of trial and error to fix any issues with your stamp. Once you have checked your stamp and you like it, that is when I would go in and add things like outlines to help your stamp kind of show up better. You don't want to add outlines too early because then you're locked into that shape and you can't fix it or change it. But once you've done an outline, you can see it really kind of helps the shapes define and refine. Once you have a stamp that you feel is effective and shows what you want to show, you're ready for printing.